think one of the things that really makes it easy for people when they're looking to engage help is when you eliminate the mystery from it. I know we're both consultants, and I think a lot of the work I do in business development is demystifying things. Like, how would you handle our content? How would you do that? And kind of explaining how I think, there's a kind of a natural roadmap a lot of businesses follow. Like they first thing they do is kind of hire people they know. Then they start branching into hiring people they don't know. Then it gets so big they don't have time to do it, or they hit a some kind of obstacle and they think I've got to get some help. What do you think are the things they need to consider, business owners, executives, when they're looking to engage help like yours? Like, what are the biggest considerations for them to do on their end to set you up for success on their behalf?
Well, there's several considerations that in the communication process to set up for success. One being the understanding of the company's culture and its values. It's especially important to ensure that the candidate's culture and values align with the client's. Another is a thorough understanding of the client's talent needs. Sometimes the client struggles with being able to communicate their needs and they find themselves revising job descriptions several times, which causes delays in the search process, which of course causes delays in the hiring process and can really impact the client's bottom line. We have a highly skilled, well qualified talent pipeline that spans the entire US, and our clients rely on our expertise to search, vet, and find only the best candidates that the markets have to offer.
I'd like to add to that too, Brian, if I may. Quite often, we all see the advertisements on TV and the radio about you can use Monster, Indeed, ZipRecruiter. But people that are looking for jobs quite often have been fired from their job, have been replaced, don't like the people they're working for, the people don't like them, and they're on Indeed, Monster, and Zip looking for a job. Those are active candidates. An executive search firm, professional search firm, we identify passive candidates. So when we're taking a job order from a client, they're telling us what kind of education they want them to have, what kind of experience, maybe even the companies they would like to hire from. And so we take all that information and we don't just post jobs, we do post jobs. We try to get all the candidates we can in the pipeline. But honestly, we go after people that we know through civic organizations, people we've worked with previously that we know are in the industry. We'll call up someone. If they're looking for a quality manager, we'll call a quality manager and say, who do you know that's the best quality manager in your organization? Or affiliates, that clubs that you're a member of. And we find those passive candidates and we present the opportunity to them. Either they're interested, or guess what? They know someone that is. So we're finding those passive candidates. And that's a big deal. Companies cannot do that for themselves.
That validates a perception that I've always had about elite people in your field, elite professionals in your field, that it's not necessarily about the marketing or the grit even that you have to be good at closing deals, but it's that creativity. It's the creativity, seeing different angles and being able to turn the head of somebody who may be perfectly happy with their compensation, where they live, and just hadn't even thought of the possibility that a new opportunity might bring for them and their family. And then given, and I want to go back to something Leslie was talking about, because I think it might be the most important thing for getting that person to turn their head oftentimes. If I'm pretty happy where I am, culture might be what unlocks me. If like I'm happy, but almost in spite of the culture, I bet you find that a lot. So what kind of things are you trying to find out when because culture is a kind of a wide open canvas, Leslie. I would love to know how you kind of quantified that so that you can authentically relay it to these folks you're identifying as candidates.
Depending on the company and depending on industry of the company, it's going to vary. It's actually going to vary a lot. But just making sure that that person is going to align, that their background is going to align with the company and then the culture fit. It's take Google, for example. You're not going to take a well-seasoned executive that has 30 years experience behind them and probably send them to Google because they're just not a good cultural fit. Google is more of a hipster, very techie. Stephen, help me out. What am I trying to say here?
I think you're doing quite well, Leslie. But Brian, when we're thinking about the culture of a company, it's how they fit personally into the company. If they enjoy hands-on mechanical applications and the company is more of a suit and tie, sit at a desk application, they're probably not going to fit in there. And it comes about the type of school you went to, the previous companies you've worked for, if you're able to work virtually, if you could dress casual at work, if you could grow a beard. I've worked for companies that you had to be a Marine, clean shaven with a buzz cut. So culture is a big part of changing anything. When you move into a neighborhood, the culture has to fit you. And the worst thing a search firm can do is find somebody with credentials to do the job, but they don't fit the company. We put a lot of time in interviewing, having casual conversations, meeting the candidates in person if we can. If they're flying in from out of state, I'll meet them at the airport, take them for a cup of coffee, and talk to them about the company before they interview. I'll also talk to the hiring authority at the company and talk to them about what they want in the person. Do they want a family guy? Do they want somebody that wants to work 70 hours a week and all they want to do is look at their computer? Big differences there. Leslie's right when she says there's a lot of different things to look at in culture. I'll say one last thing that's real important. The monetary part of the job search is not the most important thing. Money's important to everyone. You mentioned earlier that in sales it's quite important. But if they don't think they're happy, if they don't enjoy going to work, if they don't like the people they work with, they don't like the location, if they're used to a factory with mirrors and chrome and glass windows and a really nice parking lot, and they join a factory that's got a gravel parking lot, it's 100 years old, and the desks look like they came out of purgatory, they're not going to be happy. And we have to think about every bit of that.